up? What's up? What's up?
Welcome to Talks with Tayyy.
What is happening? What is going on? Welcome to Talks with Tayyy. I'm your host, Taylor, also known as Tayyy, also known as T. It does not really matter to me. If this is your first time joining, welcome. So glad you're here. If you're returning, glad to have you back. But this time we're doing it a little bit differently. We're still going to be talking about any and everything, all things growing, all things evolving, all things healing. We're still going to get into all of that, but it's just we're going to shake it up just a little bit. So I was on a little hiatus, life was lifing. Life was kicking my tail. It still is, but I've learned to manage just a little bit better. But when I tell you, life had me in a chokehold on the ground, I was kicking and screaming. And I'm not even gonna lie, at one point I stopped fighting back. But I'm glad that we are back. Remember, we transparency, vulnerability. We're gonna laugh about our pain. We're gonna probably shed a tear, but we're gonna do it all right here. So thanks for joining me. Like, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend, share with whomever. This is for a platform for all people. All right, y'all. So we're just going to jump straight into it. So let me tell y'all what I did. Some of y'all may know, some of y'all may not know. A few months back, like 2-3 months ago, I quit my job where I was and I moved back home, which was like 2.5, 3 hours away. Now that may not be a lot to some people, but when I tell you that thus far, that is probably the hardest decision I've ever had to make. It was detrimental. I am still trying to adjust, but that's what I did, right? And what we're talking about today, it kind of ties into that, but also what we're talking about is not what I had planned for today at all. At all, right? So let me tell you something I say all the time. It's not that deep. Literally, about anything. It's not that deep. And it didn't start off about any and everything. It started with like little stuff. It's not that deep. Boom. Fail a test. It's not that deep. Lost 20 beans. It's not that deep. A friend, we're no longer friends. It's not that deep. I got into it. It's not that deep because one, I used to be mad nonchalant, did not really care about much. Just very cool, calm, and collected. And so I moved back home. Not an easy decision. Quite frankly, not the decision I wanted to make. Usually I'd be like, all right, it's not that deep. This broke me in ways that I never thought it would. It broke me in so many ways, right? So I'm like, I'm coming back. I'm gonna do the whole content creation thing. I'm gonna pour my all into my music, produce right. What I intended to do, moving back home, so I can have some leverage, so I can have some room to breathe, some leaning room. And it is not an easy transition at all. When I tell you, every day I was just like, I hate it here. I hate it here. I hate everything about being here. It was not an easy transition. I'm still not fully transitioned. But yeah, so it went from me saying it's not that deep to it really being that deep, to a situation where I'd have been like, yo, that's nothing. Like, all right, cool, whatever. Yo, it ruffled every feather of mine. So, boom, I'm going through the motions. Some days are better than others, doing all the things, working on my relationship with God, doing what I think I should be doing until it was brought to my attention that I was not. So I'm on TikTok, literally just posting TikToks, trying to grow my following, trying to do all the things, right? Whatever. But I'm really on TikTok acting a fool. Like, I want to, like, whatever coming to my head, like, yo, we all right, bet we're going to figure out how to make this work, da 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 da. So I'm on TikTok, right? And the numbers is high. Are they where I want them to be? But like, nah, I'm like, all right, cool. Boom. We're gonna grow the following. We're gonna get them over to Talks with Tay. It's gonna be good. Like, boom, God, I'm doing what you told me to do. And like months is going by and I feel like I'm stagnant. Like nothing is working out the way I want it to. It's not going in the direction that I imagined in my head. So about like 2 weeks ago, it's kind of like I felt like I hit a brick wall, right? And I couldn't seem to understand why. I was frustrated. I was angry. My creativity wasn't flowing the way I thought it should have been. Like trying all the things. Like I get on this thing where when I like start writing music or producing it, all that, I eat candy. I don't know why. It just helps, right? Not a candy in the world was working. So I'm like, yo, God, what's up? And nothing. Right? So one day I have a dream or something. And I wake up, basically, I wake up and I remember the dream. Because I'm not going to lie, I do not be remembering my dreams. That is something I'm working on, remembering stuff and writing stuff down. Because when I tell you, I forget so easily and I let stuff just go because I'm always saying, yo, whatever, it's not that deep. If the Lord wants me to know about it, he'll either give it to me again or I'll remember it, right? Granted, that's not a good habit. Don't do that. Um so boom, I have this dream and I remember it. And the crazy thing, the dream is so straightforward to me. Yeah, I don't have to do much interpreting. I don't gotta ask nobody what it means. I don't really do that anyway because I don't care. And I won't get too deep into it, but more of the story, God was just like, nobody is fighting you but you. Like, because in the dream, I was fighting, right? And it was just like the people around me was just like in the daze, like nobody cared. They just looking at me, just like, okay, whatever. And God was just like, nobody is fighting you but you. Nobody is concerned, for lack of a better word, because ain't no fight to see. You're not fighting necessarily an opponent. Yo, to be honest, it's not even the enemy fighting you. You're the only person fighting you. It's not me fighting you. You are the only one standing in your way. The reason you feel stuck, the reason you are stuck, the reason you are stagnant is because you're not doing what I told you to do. Plain simple, blank, and the end, right? And in my head, I'm like, God, I am doing what you told me to do. Yeah, I haven't recorded or posted a video, but it's because I'm trying to grow my following. I'm trying to do this and do that. And he's just like, I didn't tell you to do that. I told you to do the show. So I think I was treating this as like it's not that deep. Because even when I wasn't saying it verbally, I think my actions and my responses to things still spoke very loudly that it's not that deep. Right. And I think God is trying to show me that, okay, it is that deep. And I'm not gonna lie, when I came back to this, I was just like, I wanna do it differently this time. Yes, we're gonna talk about God. Yes, we're gonna talk about our Christian walk because boom, that's who I am. But I wanted it to be a little bit more light, like not too much, because I was so far like, yo, I wanted this to be a platform for any and everybody. Still do. Like you don't have to go to church to watch this. You don't have to know the Bible verbatim to watch this. I wanted it to be that type of platform. So I was trying to navigate how to do that. I was just like, all right, well, we need to talk about secular topics, and always leading back to God, but we need to get into all of that. And God was just like, Shorty, I ain't tell you to do that. I did not tell you to do that. I told you to do Talks with Tay, which would basically be like my journal entry. I hate journaling. It makes me feel weird and it makes me feel uncomfortable and it makes me feel like a sap. Like I don't like it, right? So this was one way to push me to journal, but also to speak to an audience that feels like nobody understands, that nobody goes through what they went through, and all the things, right? So I got away from that. Now, prayerfully, this still reaches that audience, but the truth of the matter is, God gave me this. So I think I just kind of got away from the goal. I got away from the real purpose of it all, not just talks with Tay, but with my whole life. I got away from from I should say I got away from his goal. Cause in my mind, I'm chasing my goal. Like what? I ain't just quit and do all this for nothing. I'm gonna make it happen. I don't have no plan B or C. Plan A all the way. Right? Even down to having godly conversations with whomever, friend, family, stranger. I kind of limited it on purpose by accident, because I'm just like, nobody want to be deep all the time. And I think I was in a place of just disappointment and emotional turmoil, and I was just down. I was just like, I don't want to be deep. I want to laugh. If it's not funny, don't bring it to me. That's just the place I was in. So I'm just like, all the deep stuff, I'm good off of that. So that's when my conversations became. And I came across a post, um, I think on Instagram, and that joint shook me to still to this day, where this dude was just like, imagine you get caught up in the rapture, right? And there's that one friend or person who's looking up, just like, yo, why you ain't tell me? You knew this was gonna happen, and you did not mention, you didn't mention it one time. All the time we spent together, all the conversations we had, all the times we laughed, not one time did you mention that this was gonna happen. You know, and that can all stem from me just being like, yo, it ain't that deep. We don't got to talk about it from now. When the truth of the matter is, like, it is that deep. Because now this person basically got to go through hell on earth when they have the opportunity to get caught up with me. And the crazy thing is, it's either hell on earth going through that tribulation period, or hell for real. It's not funny, but like, imagine one conversation could have made them think. Shoot, one conversation could have been the end all be all, them giving their life to Christ. But because I was in my own way, in my own head, I was just like, I don't want to talk about that right now. Like, and I was so pressed on, it's not that deep. Literally everything is not that deep. Or it don't take all that. What? Favorites. Like, even down to my music. Like, me personally, I don't got no problem listening to second music. I listen to second music. But it got to a point where I was like, all right, cool, I listen to second. It ain't that deep. It ain't that deep. But then moving forward, all I would listen to was secular music. I would listen to gospel on Sundays or on Saturdays when I had to play for a service, because I knew I had to get my mind right. But that's and then but that it ain't deep. It ain't that deep statement turns into something really be now it's really that deep. Because boom, soon as I get in the car, throwbacks. Soon as I get in the car, vibes. And down to my conversations with whomever. Talking about any and nothing. Talking about absolutely nothing. Um Laughing at nonsense, right? I think sometimes as we mature in anything, it's like not even only our relationship with God, maturing in a job, maturing in a career, maturing at in a family, maturing in a relationship. You get comfortable, right? And you don't do everything you did in the beginning. to keep that job, to make sure your employer or your boss sees that that you're worth keeping. Or when you're in a relationship, like, you put yourself together, right? You doing what you got to do to keep this person interested, right? You putting on, and then once you get comfortable, it's like whatever. Like, they see who I am. They already know whatever. And sometimes that's okay. But I think we do that in pretty much every area of our life. We get comfortable and then we get lackadaisical. Like, it don't take all that, right? But I'm learning that it might very well take all that. and literally in every aspect of life, it really might take all that. I'm jacking. My partner don't want to see me in my meeks all day every day. Like, when he met me, when I look like this, I'm pretty sure he don't want to see me looking like Kawhi Leonard every day.
Oh, somebody.
You feel me? I'm pretty sure, he want to see me done up. Like, girl, I met you looking like this. Now you look like this every day. Like, what's up? And when we're working at our jobs or whatever, you putting on, you doing what needs to be done. You're getting to work on time, so your employer sees that you are worth keeping. What? And then you get to a place where, man, they know what I could do. I feel like it becomes even a little bit of pride comes in there. They see what I could do. I don't gotta do all that. Man, I'm on time to work all the time. This one time ain't gonna hurt. I'm telling you, that one time you late, it is going to turn into 2 times. Then it's gonna turn to 3 times a week, and then you're gonna show up late all the time. Ask me how I know. Ask me how I know. What? When I got comfortable, I get there when I get there. Because it becomes just like, man, you see all I do, ain't nobody gonna do what I do. When the truth of the matter is, Ninja, you are replaceable. And that's something I'm also learning. You are replaceable in a relationship. Keep keep it a buck. If that person ever get through with you, they can make the decision to replace you. Now, I hope that we don't get that type of person, but we all know the times we living in. You are replaceable. And even in our walk with Christ, God don't need you. God don't need me. He wants to use us, but he's God. He can use whomever he chooses. You're replaceable. Anyway, the moral of the story is, we get lackadaisical when we get comfortable. We stop putting in the work. We stop putting in the effort. We stop putting in the time. And I think that's definitely what happened with my relationship with God. What? On fire, doing all the things, praying 6, 7 times a day, making all the church services, making sure I was surrounded with like-minded people. I got lackadaisical. All right, like, okay, I missed one day of prayer. Boom, it's not that deep. Cool. You're just going to get right back into it. Boom. So you get back into it, and then you miss another day of prayer. It's not that deep. But then you miss another day of prayer. And God knows my heart. You're gonna hop right back into it. But then you keep missing days of prayer. Like, it's like a domino effect. Like with the music. Like, whatever. I stopped balancing it. Because, like I said, I don't think there's anything wrong with listening to secular music. Cool. But I stopped making a balance. So now I'm in church trying to play worship. Trying to play worship. And I like the kissing game is playing in my head. Like, I'm trying to back up the preacher. And it's like Pop Smoke in the back of my head.
Get out your flesh!
So it's because at first it started off as it's not that deep. But then I kept saying it. And then I got to a point where I didn't even have to say it no more. My actions showed that it wasn't that deep. My responses showed that it wasn't that deep, you know? And the truth of the matter is, it's really that deep. In a relationship, it's really that deep. Put on for your partner. Because I'm not gonna lie, if my man never has a cut, I'm gonna look at him crazy. Like, yo, what do you, bro, what's up? Like, if he never got dressed up and put on, I'll be like, yo, dude, can you get dressed? And then now let's flip it. Imagine a relationship with God. He's just like, yo, you asked me for this, this, and this. I did it for you. Now you ain't gonna talk to me regularly? Because we could say, oh yeah, I talk to God. No, you're not gonna talk to me. You're not gonna do what I asked you to do. You used to spend so much time with me. Now I gotta shake up your life to hear from you. You feel me? That's not crazy. And something my therapist told me left me speechless, to be honest. She said, imagine God treating you the way you treat people. And we could go further. Imagine God treating us the way we treat him. Imagine him talking to you when he feels like it. Or imagine him, all right, I'll do what you asked me to do. Just give me a minute. So all the times I said it's not that deep, it very much became that deep. I think even the Bible is the perfect example of it being that deep. What does the Bible say about lust? Or something like, if your eye is causing you to sin, pluck it out. That's OD. That's beastie. I a part of me was that so like I think my humanity would say that's so unnecessary. But it's in the book for a reason. Because it very much might be that deep. Yes, it might take all that. Like, it says, if your members, your body parts, are causing you to sin, cut them joints off. That's it's that deep. Even if you, what is it? Now, see, now y'all making me get scripture, bro. And like I said, I didn't want it to be this deep. But there's somebody watching that needs to know, like, you're not doing too much. I promise you, you're not doing too much. You're not reading your word too much. You're not saying no too much. You cutting out secular music, period. If that's what you have to do, that's not too much. If you're fasting all the time, if that's what you need to do, I think like somebody may need to hear, you're not doing too much. Yes, it does take all that. It does. I even saw a video with Jackie Hill Perry mentioning the same thing. And I find it crazy that God is just dealing with me in the same way. And I saw another video. It's kind of like I saw it a few times. And then down to my devotion, it's like telling the same thing. Yo, Taylor, it's that deep. You feel me? Whatever's easy for me may be absolutely difficult for you. You know? Shoot, if you gotta stop, listen. If you can't walk past a certain corner because you get a certain whiff, if you gotta walk all the way around just so you don't smell it might be that deep. Because there was a time where I came back to this city and I said, whoa, that smells amazing. Because where I was at before, I would get a whiff of it and it would make me sick. And I said, all right, God, you really had to take this from me. Because that was my thing. But yeah, I came to this city. I said, whoa, that's smelling too nice. So yes, sometimes I would have to take a different route of walking. It's where it might not bother you. You might not can't walk past the liquor store. And I can because that don't bother me. You might can't watch a certain show because it gets you feeling a little too hot and ready. True, you might not can't watch Power because you start feeling like Little Caesars. You ready. Whereas me, it's just like, now I do have to limit it a little bit because they be wilding. But like I said, like, it really might take all that. Boom, I'm literally right now, I'm fasting from TV. And some might say, Taylor, it don't take all that. Taylor, just like, what? It's TV. Nah, kid, it's TV. And it's making me want to do some ungodly things. It's taking me away from reading my Bible. It's taking my attention away from the things of God. It's taking my attention away from what He is asking of me. So yeah, I got to take it out for a little bit. So nah, and All American just came back out. I can't watch it. It's just a sacrifice that I have to make. And once upon a time, I would have been like, yo, Taylor, it's not that deep. What? God, I got you. Right after All American, I'm going to pray. What? All American, and I'm knocked. I'm slumped. You have to know what's good for you. And even I'm careful with that because even sometimes I'll be like, all right, cool, I could do that. Sometimes it starts off like, but it can increase. So you even got to be careful with that. Like, listen, God was also trying to get me to realize I do this in practically everything. I say it is not that deep to everything. Like I just said, dreams, it's not that deep. And I think I'm in a season where the Lord, He's just like, Taylor, it's that deep. Me, guy don't take all that. Him. You said what? It don't take all what? Bet. Now look, it take all that. It take all that. Me putting my phone on do not disturb for a little bit. I never really had to do that. If I don't want to talk to you, I don't talk to you. I don't have no problem ignoring calls. Me personally. But I'm in a season. It take all that. Intentionally sending out text and checking on people. I ain't never done that before. What? But there's some relationships that you have to pour into, and God is teaching me, yes, sometimes, Taylor, it takes all of that. Sometimes it takes you going a step further. Sometimes it takes you getting out of your comfort zone. What? I am the most uncomfortable I've ever been. The most uncomfortable I've ever been. And the crazy thing, it's not because he put a mic in my hand on a platform or on a pulpit. It's because he made me text somebody and apologize. Like, it's because he made me schedule a phone call or outing with somebody, because you gotta pour into the relationships you want to keep. Me personally, I am the most low maintenance friend. I don't need much from you, if anything. One, because I've been traumatized. Two, because that's just where I am. Well, I don't really need much. But some people are not like that. Some people need you to tell them you love them every day. Some people need that. To be honest, I probably need that. I'm just emotionally screwed. And I'm working on it. That's why I'm in therapy. I'm working on it. But all this to say, no matter what you do, don't get caught up in what people say or say, yo, you doing too much. All right. You being all right. You know how we get. All right. No. If it take all that for you, it take all that. Sometimes we be in church, we be like, you doing too much. You know that person who in church, they just always in the spirit every time you see them, right? It's just like, all right, you doing too much. What? Wait until life hits you, bro. I me too. I might be that person now. Yo, just wait till life get a hold of you. I see why them people be in the church screaming because I could have lost my mind. I basically threw in the towel. It's just God was gracious. He was gracious enough to throw it back. Sometimes it take all that. Yo, you always at the altar crying, man, because you don't know the hell I've been through this last week, and the week before that, and the week before that. You don't know that I had no money to pay my bills, but somehow they got paid. You don't know that I just lost a loved one and it broke my heart. And I don't know how I'm gonna get over that. You don't know that. I need God. I can't. I don't know how I'm gonna get through this without him. We have to be, and me including myself. Like I just told you, God, yo, that joint punched me in my chest. Sometimes it very much might take all of that. Sometimes it might be that deep. And like I said, that whole illustration of me being caught up in somebody looking up at me, yo, T, why you ain't tell me? Yo, Tay, we was together all the time. You ain't say nothing. Imagine him being like, I don't care if you thought I didn't want to hear it. Now look at me. And I think sometimes we do that too. We don't say something because of how somebody may respond or because we think they don't want to hear it. I bet you they wouldn't want to hear it then. When there's some fool coming at them with an axe, I bet you they're like, well, who cares what I thought? Why you ain't say nothing? Now look at me. Now the things on earth trying to eat me alive because you ain't say nothing. Because you thought somebody else was going to say something. I am queen of that. What if I'm standing next to my mom? My mom, basically Junior, Jesus Junior. She tell whomever. I'm like, my mom right there. She'll tell you. Imagine you thought your mother was going to say something. She was talking to somebody else at the time. Imagine. So what, bro? Now I'm not saying it's gonna be easy. I still got a couple friends where we've had conversation, but I ain't go too deep into it. I'm just like, I don't know, because it's like I can't. It's hard, especially if you're someone who is soft spoken. If you're an introvert, it's hard. Like so. There's still some talking to strangers. What? And I'm not saying it's gonna be easy. I don't know. I feel like this went straight to telling people about Jesus. This is good, but I think the truth of the matter is I think I lost sight of the one most important goal: living a life pleasing to Jesus. And it's not that I wanted to fit in because I don't care. That's whatever, and I'm not ashamed. But I ain't want to be that deep when sometimes it really is that deep. We done went down a rabbit hole, but the truth of the matter is, I think sometimes we even be like, "Yo, that's not my personality. God knows me. God knows I'm so spoken." But even my pastor used to say that. He was like, "So what? You quiet? So what?" And I used to look at her like, "God know that I ain't finna talk to just anybody." But now it's just like he's just like, "Oh, bet you not cool." And now he's pulling me in the most uncomfortable season. It's all uncomfortable. It doesn't feel good. And I just feel like he don't care that I'm uncomfortable. Because he's still asking me to do it. Like I even did a video the other day. Just like either you're gonna say yes to God, withholding nothing, or you're gonna say yes, going kicking and screaming. Because, like me, you will begin to run into a brick wall and nothing will move. Now you're just frustrated, you're angry, you're overwhelmed, and eventually it's going to put you down into a dark hole and you are not going to know how to get out of it. Now, everybody's story is different, everybody's path is different, everybody's process will be different. But I know the most important goal is leading people back to Christ. Every conversation I have, 90% should lead people back to Christ. What I choose to do should lead people back to Christ. What I say should lead people back to Him. I think I lost sight of the most important goal. I got caught up in life. I got caught up in what I wanted to do. I got caught up in my plan, and it wasn't like I was just disregarding God. I thought that I was doing what He said. I just took my own route, but He's just like, no. Not only you're going to do what I say, but you're going to do it how I say to do it. Because you're not me, and I know better than you. And sometimes I think we get a little crazy, and we think we know better than God. Like, God, you're not wrong, but I'm also right. And it don't work like that. And I had to learn the hard way. So, moral of the story, it really might be that deep. So treat it as if it's really that deep. So, boom. That's it. That definitely got deep. And it definitely went somewhere where I didn't intend for it to go. And I think I'm letting go and I'm letting God. I know I'm gonna lose a couple followers. Some people gonna turn it off. But in this last couple of weeks of my life, I'm going to obey God because it hurts when I don't. I feel like dookie when I don't. So whoever got to go, whatever I got to give up, I'm going to obey God. And whoever come, whoever don't. But I have to be responsible for what I know. And I have to be responsible for what He has given me. You feel me? Right? So we're always going to end our conversations with a conversation with God. I was born to stand in the gap, and I know I'm not going to ever get away from it. So, Father, we thank you for this time. We thank you for this platform. We thank you for this conversation. And we thank you for your sovereignty. We also thank you for your correction. God, it's not always easy. It's not always comfortable, but we know that all things are working together for us according to your purpose. So help us to trust your plan for us that is perfect, that is sure, and trust your hand that is perfect and that is sure. And God, lead us and guide us as we go through the process of life and the process that you have given us. We thank you for it. We praise you for it. We pray that somebody is uplifted, somebody is encouraged, and ultimately that somebody is led to you through this conversation. So until next time.
We out.